Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media. We hope you are having an amazing day. I am so happy to bring to you today Scott Reib, who is known as America's legal coach. He's the official Ziglar small business lawyer, a Ziglar legacy certified trainer, and he has over 20 years of experience as an attorney. For the last 2 decades, Scott has been helping business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, and service providers to shatterproof their businesses and succeed in the professional world. Scott is a firm believer that seeking legal advice doesn't have to be intimidating or expensive if we treat lawyers like primary care doctors instead of ER doctors. I like that. Through his subscription-based access plan legal service, Scott is making a great strides in shifting that perspective. Wow. Welcome, Scott.
Thanks for having me, Ida.
Yes, I want to talk about treating lawyers like primary care doctors instead of ER doctors. Let's jump right into that.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's a proactive versus reactive thing, right? So with our health, we're proactive. We get a physical once a year. We might even see them more often, get our blood tested, do all that stuff to make sure we stay healthy. But most small business owners don't do that with the legal side of their business. They don't go see them until something really goes wrong. You know, they've got a broken leg at their business, then they come to the emergency room and want us to fix it, which we can, but it's more expensive. Instead of, hey, let's form a relationship with a business lawyer that knows us, understands us, can help us avoid big problems and smooth out the road for us. And so that's what we've done here, is create a program where you can have that kind of access so you don't have to wait for the emergencies.
Wow. So what kind of services do you provide?
Yeah, so we have an on-demand subscription called the Access Plan for entrepreneurs, small business owners, coaches, professionals, where they can, if you have a legal question or a question that you wonder if it's even a legal question, you can ask it and you don't have to worry about it costing more money because you've already paid your monthly subscription. And then we review your contracts. We design your overall enterprise structure and build that out for you. And then as contracts come into your business, which is, it's every day something new's coming in, we review it, make sure it's signable before you sign it, and revise it if we need to, and so you can go back and negotiate it. And then we just do strategy calls once a month, just like what's going on with your business, what's going on with your life, what things are you doing that we can't see from our desks that maybe you're not doing the right way, and if we tweak it a little bit, it'll work better and maybe cause less trouble. And so those are the things that we do day in, day out here at Reib Law.
Oh, wow. I like that. I like the personal touch. Your platform reminds me of the prepaid legal system. Difference with you and them is that you are more personable. And that makes the world a difference. One of the questions that I have, like, when trouble does come, how is that handled?
A couple of ways. Sometimes trouble comes and we handle it. We'll jump on and try to get it resolved, because lawsuits are only good for lawyers, and that's usually what trouble means. Right. And so if we'll jump in and get that thing resolved with an agreement, a settlement, and if we can't, then we'll litigate it for the client. I've litigated for almost 27 years. I prefer not to. I think the client's better served with me advising them on strategy, being between them and their lawyer. And so then we have some trusted litigation partners that we bring in. They do the heavy lifting on the litigation, and then we stand between the client and to make sure the client understands the process and what's going on, and the litigator's getting what they need from the client, because can be a headache for a litigator. It's like trying to get the information you need to present the case. We already know the client, we already have the information, and we can really make that a lot more efficient and hopefully less costly.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Wow. This is definitely, this is very different. approach, and business people do need this. I mean, I've had situations where, I've had some trouble and I had to get a lawyer. I had to actually put together um some type of bylaws and rules and regulations of
Mhm.
engagement, which is very, very important. So that way, not only your company is covered, but your clients is covered as well. Because we
Right.
want everybody to understand this is how we're gonna work together. And it needs to be in writing.
Yes.
It-
Yeah, the difference is if you got it in writing, then you're taking someone back and refreshing their recollection about what we agreed to. And if it's not in writing, then it ends up with you're basically calling someone a liar because they're saying it was this way, you're saying it was this way.
right.
Well, we both can't be right. So once you go to that point, the relationship's destroyed, and business is all about relationships. We don't want to burn bridges. So by putting it in writing, it makes everything better, especially when you're working with people which more and more I see where you've got kind of a group of people, a cohort of people that kind of run together and they do all kinds of business together. Well, it's even more important that those deals be in writing because not only would you maybe lose a business relationship, but you could lose a friendship. And so you got to get those things documented. And you can do some of that yourself for sure. I've got some systems that help our clients do that. But the best thing is to have a lawyer that's on your team that can prepare those efficiently, economically, and get you an agreement that is fair to both parties,
Mhm.
but is enforceable if you needed to do that. But just lets everyone know, hey, here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's what you're going to do for me. Here's how we pay, how the payments work, all that stuff, crystal clear. If you do that, it really helps business run smoothly.
Yes, yes. And a lot of times people, especially startups, they shy away from attorney basically because of the fees. Uh,
Sure.
it is astronomical. I just couple years ago I was working on a trademark,
Mhm.
and the lawyers were like, it was going to be astronomical for them to take it. So do you
Hmm.
provide services like that?
Yeah, we do. We do trademarks for lots of our clients. It's not free, that's for sure, but we
Right.
can do a comprehensive trademark package for a brand for a couple $1,000. And now our membership packages range from 650 a month to 3250 a month. So there's kind of a level for where you may be in your entrepreneurial journey. So we try not to be too expensive. I've been advised several times by coaches that I was working with to, hey, charge more money, charge more money. You can make a lot more money. But if I did that, I would be leaving out this whole group of people that I love that are these entrepreneurs that are starting up and they're bootstrapping their business and they have so much to risk. And those people I want to help.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of why I come on shows like yours is so that I can provide more information and education for free so that they can ask better and smarter questions, and get there faster.
Yes, and that's important because with all the different things as an entrepreneur that you need, and it's a ton of stuff, and we all know that it's a process. You start the business, uh, and then you find you need this, you need that, et cetera, et cetera. Now, starting the business, I think my opinion is you should have a lawyer involved at the start.
Yes.
So, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there are six key relationships that every entrepreneur should have. We'll start with, because I'm on here, we'll say me. You need to have a lawyer, right? You need to have that business lawyer. You need to have a CPA, right? The way you keep score in the game of business is with money. The CPAs know how to do that. They can show you how to manage your cash flow and keep score and pay the IRS as little as possible, right? So that's important. Third, you need to have an insurance broker that can tell you what insurance policies you are available to cover your activity, and then let you choose which ones you can afford. But at least you know what you're doing. The GI Joe used to say, "Knowing is half the battle," right? And so then the next thing you want to have is a banker, not a bank. There's a bank on every corner. We need a banker, someone that I've got their phone number. I can call their cell phone and say, hey, I need to write a check tonight. to take advantage of this opportunity, but there's not enough money in my account. But tomorrow, if I write this check, I'll be able to deposit more than enough to cover it, and then go, I trust you, I know you, go do it, go make some money. If you don't have that relationship, you can't. The next would be, I think you should have a business coach. It's very hard to get from A to Z. Using someone that can get you from A to G would be great. They need to have a path for you and then hold you accountable to action steps and understand your vision. If you have those people on your team, your board of advisors, you can really grow exponentially.
Absolutely. I have to agree with you on that, a coach, because when you're first starting, you do your business plan. And by the way, do you help with that business plans?
Sure. Yeah, definitely do. And mine are a little simpler than you would think. Some of my coaches have taught me, because I used to do these real complicated plans, and I've got what we call a 90-day game plan, and it's fairly simple, but you can live your life in 90-day chunks a lot easier than 3-year, 5-year. I'm not saying you can't have long-term goals, but yeah, we do planning. It's really important to have a target. What Ziglar used to say, if you don't have goals, you're just a wandering generality. We need to have specific places we're going and targets, and the coach can really help you set the right goals so that you're aiming for the right target, because sometimes we're setting the wrong goals.
Mhm.
And we need someone that's maybe has a little bit of different perspective, has already been there, can see the forest for the trees, and help us set those goals in a smart way. Because if you set them too big, you'll get frustrated. If you
Yes.
set them too small, you won't stretch yourself. And so you need someone that can kind of say, hey, this is where you should set these targets for this quarter.
Yes. And I like the idea that you said 90 days. That is perfect.
Yeah,
Perfectly said.
I learned the 90-day trick years ago. I needed to lose weight. When I started my firm in 2005, I was in pretty good shape, had been eating right, working out, and then I started this law firm, and all I did was work and didn't exercise and ate junk food. And one day I realized that I had put on about 40 pounds. I'm one of those people that can look in the mirror and I think I always look good. So I didn't realize I'd gained so much weight. And so when I figured that out, I had to figure out how to lose it. And so I put together a 90-day game plan, a 90-day goal for what I wanted to weigh. I mean, I had a picture of what I wanted to look like. I had it all on a board, and then I set about doing it. And in 90 days, I had reached my goal, lost the weight, was feeling great and healthy. And I've learned that you can apply that to almost anything in life that you want to do. You can do it in 90-day chunks.
Yes, yes, and that makes sense. And it's more reasonable.
Yeah.
1 year, I mean, in today's world, you can't project what's going to happen in a year.
No.
We have too many forces out of our control.
And it's just and if most entrepreneurs, if you're kind of, there's two sides of the coin. You're a visionary, and so you've got an idea every minute, or you're an integrator and you're really organized and good at putting things together. But most of the people I see are visionaries. They've got ideas, and if they plan out more than 90 days, they'll get lost. The
Yes,
90 days, they can kind of stick with it for 90 days, and then we get a new plan, and then it's like a dog with a bone for 90 days, and then come back. And that's been what I've seen.
yes, absolutely. So you talk a little bit about strategies to shatterproof your business. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of those we already hit on is the assembling that team of key advisors. That's
Yes.
really important. The second thing would be that you want to build your business on a solid foundation. You don't want to build your business on sand. You want to build it on the rock. And the rock in the business world is corporations and LLCs. Like you mentioned, you needed to have bylaws. So you've got a corporation. If you have an LLC, you need to have an operating agreement. You need to have unanimous written consent to the formation. There's some legal documents that you need, and some people need more than one legal entity, right? Because if you've got a bunch of assets in your business, for instance, you're doing construction or something, or home services, and you've got lots of vans or heavy equipment, you don't want those in the company that's actually doing business with people. There's liability there. So you want to keep your assets separate. And so you need to have a really strategical way of putting together your enterprise. And that's the foundation. Too many people are out there doing these businesses as solopreneur entrepreneurs without any legal entity, and they don't realize that that puts everything at risk. Your home, depending on where you live, your cars, all your bank accounts, your investments, your jewelry, your assets are all at risk to your business activity unless you do what I just done and make sure you have a legal entity between you and the rest of the world. And there's some tricks to it. Yes, you can go get one online, and your CPA could help you get one. But I don't drill my own teeth. I don't do my own surgery. Go to the legal professionals and get your LLC set up right. Even if you have to pay a little bit to do it, shouldn't cost you more than $2,000 to get it all done right. And then I've got a good solid foundation to build this business. The next strategy would be is own your brand. We've already touched on this. You want to have the trademark. So if you've got some cool company name and you start building this brand, and 10 years from now you realize that you've built your brand on someone else's, you're in big trouble because you've now got to rebrand. You may end up paying attorney's fees and damages for infringement when if at the beginning you had hired a trademark lawyer, had them do a search, make sure that you have a clear runway, and then file that application with the trademark office, then you can own your brand. Then you can build with and scale with confidence. Otherwise, man, it's a risky deal because every year we have clients or people come in and say, hey, I've got this letter saying I have to cease and desist from using my name. And they're really upset about it. And I can see why, but they hadn't done the work. What Gerber says, everyone has this entrepreneurial seizure and you jump in and just start doing. And I get that. I even did some of that. But you've got to come back quickly and fix this thing. And year one is when you secure your brand, not year 2, year 3, year 4. It's year 1. 1A is get your LLC or corporation. 1B, secure your brand.
Yes. And it took me a minute to get mine, but I finally did get it. Because everything costs money. So, like I said, it's a process, and some stuff you pray as you move through it.
Yeah, you do. But everything you can, if you just kind of have a roadmap, and so if you're working with the right professionals, hey, here's the steps I need to take, then you're being conscious about it, purposeful, and so you'll work through those steps, and then you don't wind up 10 years down the road with a brand that you can't own, because the dream is to build these companies and be able to sell them and retire for a lot of people. Well, if you don't own the brand, the value of your company just went down the tube. You've got to own that brand. The next strategy is you don't use other people's intellectual property, right? It's the other side of that coin. You don't use their trademarks. You don't use their copyrighted images. You don't use their content. You don't take Ida's stuff and call it yours on YouTube. If you're going to do that, you have to get written permission, possibly pay a royalty. And the biggest thing I see is images. It's pictures, because we're all putting together these marketing funnels, and the quickest, easiest thing to do is grab a Google image and throw it on there, and it looks really pretty. The problem is it's not yours. Someone has a copyright on it, and there's what I call trolls out there on the internet looking for those. And when they find them, then they send you a cease and desist letter and a damages claim, and it's usually several $1,000s. And if you've done it, there really is no legal defense. If it was on your website and you didn't have a written permission to use it, you can't. And even if your web designer did it, it's still your website, you're responsible. So you got to find the sites. I've got a couple different ones that my team goes to, and we just pay for the images.
That's what I do.
So that we know we have them, and we use a lot because we're doing 2 or 3 blog posts a week. But I don't want to walk in the office one day and have that letter sitting on my desk. So we pay. And you can get subscriptions different places so that you can get enough images for a monthly fee. And so if you're doing a lot of creative things, then do that, but do not use other people's IP because it will get you in trouble.
Yes, that's exactly what I do. I pay for a subscription, music, clip art,
Yeah.
videos. It's worth every penny because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, you don't want to be caught up in using somebody else's content without permission.
No, it's just I mean, set aside that you could get in legal trouble for it and have to pay damages. It's just not the right thing to do.
Right.
And people aren't thinking about it that way. They're just thinking it's on the internet. I can use it.
Yes.
Well, just because it's out there, you can't. It's someone else's work. Um, it doesn't seem like to us, if you're not a photographer, like it's hard to take those pictures, but they work hard at that, taking them, getting them just the right thing in their camera, and then they spend a lot of time editing those images. And so, if you really think about it, you wouldn't want someone taking your work. So just don't take theirs. It's just too easy to get it other ways.
Yes.
The fifth strategy is document everything, and we've touched on this one too, Ida. You got to have written contracts. You need to, if you have written proposals that you're sending out to clients and you want to keep them. We don't keep paper here. Everything's in the cloud. But I have backup on backup of all the documentation that we do, so that if a problem comes, it's easy for me to find the trail of what everyone said in the writings that lead up to a contract, for instance. You also should be keeping minutes of your meetings, especially if you're a multi-member LLC or multi-shareholder corporation. You need to have minutes of decisions so that you can prove you had the right authority to do it. One of the first things the IRS agents will ask for in an audit is to see your books, your corporate books. And they don't mean your accounting. They want to see your bylaws and your minutes. And most people that are listening to the show right now are going, what bylaws and minutes? Because they don't have them. I've talked to enough of you, I know. So get them. It's not hard. And one of the things that I advise our clients to do is take a trip every year, hold your annual meeting somewhere fun, even if it's just you. You can take your family with you. Just pull aside for breakfast, contemplate your business, make some decisions, do some 90-day game planning, and write off the day before, that day, and the day after. And you just turned an everyday activity into a business positive activity and took care of your legal obligations.
Wow. That's some really, really great tips, Scott. People need to be definitely paying attention. And if you have to watch or listen to this a couple of times until you get it, please do. And how do people reach out to you, Scott?
There's two ways. One would be on Instagram at the Scott Reib. We release the 2 or 3 reels every week with legal tips like this. You can also message me there. I'm on there all the time. And then the other way would be come to the website, and it's reiblaw.com, REIBLAW.com/mind your business. And we'll have a special page set up so that you can go to that page. You can download a free ebook, Is Your Business Shatterproof? So that you can have some of these strategies in it that you can review. And then I've got a link on there where you can schedule a 20-minute, what I call laser legal coaching session, where I'll dive into your business with you, kind of show you some problems that I see, or maybe I'll tell you, hey, great job, you don't need a lawyer. Probably not. And then you can go away with knowledge of this is what I need to focus on. And if we can help you with it, then let me know. Otherwise, I hope we've given them value. But that page is there just for your listeners, Ida.
Okay.
Either of those places would be great. And I'd love to interact with your listeners.
Yes, absolutely. And I'd love for the listeners to interact with you as well, because at the end of the day, you work so hard in your business. You want to make sure that you cross every T and dot every I, because we live in a world now that you see all the time things happening to big corporations. Right now, I think Facebook is getting sued because going on with the social media, a lot of stuff going on. So I know their lawyers are quite busy these days. So having an attorney when everything is quiet is key, so that you are being proactive about covering your butt, so to speak.
Yeah, it's because I'll have people say all the time, well, I've never needed a lawyer. I don't know why I want to pay you every month. Well, the thing is, you don't know what you don't know. And by
Mm.
spending time with someone like me that does know, we find things every month when we talk to clients that we can work on to make things better. But if you're not having that regular conversation, then everything just decays and gets worse, but you don't know it because you're just doing business as usual. So
Yeah.
take a hard look at it. Get with a business attorney that understands the entrepreneurial journey, and it'll make all the difference.
Yes. And one of the key things you just said, a business lawyer. You know, some people have family lawyers, things like that. But is it important to have somebody that a lawyer that's basically strictly business?
Yeah, I mean, I think they could do a couple other things, but I work with, and I've done family law. That's no fun, but I've got friends that do it, and they very often will bring me in on the family law because they've got a business issue or a business that needs to be divided, and they want to make sure it's done right. They're just very different things, and
Mm.
so, and there's business lawyers that work with Fortune 500 companies, and that's not the right lawyer to help you start a coaching business, for instance. They don't understand this stuff. They don't understand what a online program is that you might put together and sell. They don't get that. You
Mm.
need someone that really understands what's happening in today's world and how people are making money using videos and podcasts and how to manage that kind of business. Otherwise, they won't be of full value. So make sure you're getting someone that really understands it. Maybe someone that's a little entrepreneurial themselves, so that they
Mhm.
can kind of understand why you go off and do what you do, so that they're not looking down their nose at you, but they go, "Okay, I understand. I've been there. Here, let's back up and fix that."
Yes. Now, and I have one other question. Okay, we know there's all types of businesses,
Mhm.
retail,
Sure.
you know, service.
Mhm.
So is it good to have a lawyer that knows your specific area?
Yeah, that can be very valuable. I will say that we work with people all over the map, and we've got people that are remodelers doing construction work. We have HVAC companies, we have plumbers, we have
Mhm.
doctors. I work a whole lot with podcasters, business coaches, speakers, and trainers and consultants. Ton with them, but we have these brick and mortar doing all those other things, real estate, property management, and so there's commonalities between them, but we're working with people that are doing, let's say, between $250,000 and 10 million, and
Mhm.
that's small business. And so they're all having some common struggles, like how do we document all the stuff that we're supposed to be doing? How do we hire people? How do we fire people? How do we discipline them? What's our handbook supposed to look like? They're all common problems, and
Mhm.
so as long as you've got someone that really understands the small business struggle, they can do it. Now, if you can find someone that just they only do your niche, that's great, and that would be very valuable. I will say that I learned things from one area of our practice, like the HVACs, for instance, that often I can then apply other places. So
Mhm.
there is some cross things, because sometimes people have really good systems and processes over in this industry, and this other industry doesn't have it, and we're able to go, hey, have you thought of doing it this way? Because sometimes the problem that we have is they've got a really good business, they have really good people, and they don't have good systems and processes for doing what they
Mhm.
do. And because of our bird's eye view of different things, I can make recommendations to people. Or if you only had one, if I'm just looking at HVAC companies all day long, um, I could be really good at that, but I would not be able to help you expand your mind.
Absolutely. Wow, Scott, this has been amazing. I really appreciate you bringing this to our platform because it's very important, that we work hard. Like I said before, we work hard in these businesses. So we want to make sure we've got all our T's crossed and I's dotted. So thank you for this valuable information, and I look forward to collaborating with you again.
Me too.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.